everyone, this is Jenna Griffiths of Earth School. I have Kris Deva with us today, and Kris is an author, teacher of the Taoist arts, Zen, Shiatsu, and also Healing NLP, author of quite a few books. Welcome, Kris.
Thank you, Jenna, and thank you very much indeed for inviting me here. I'm very, very grateful for this opportunity to make new friends.
Well, it's fascinating what you do, and you've had quite a long, interesting life. Could you tell us something about that?
Well, the long and interesting life began, well, actually 73 years ago in a couple of weeks' time, when I was born in an air raid in London, and have been living happily ever after ever since. But it has been a life of extreme turbulence, very interesting, many ups, many downs, but it's really, like all our lives, I suppose, it's got us to where we are now, hasn't it? And everything that I am is a result of what I've done and what's been done to me and what I've done to other people. In my head, the most memorable event is actually quite recently, well, 5 years ago, when I learnt to surf standing up at the age of 68.
Oh! Where was that? Hawaii?
That was in Australia, and I met a surfer just the other day who said, "Where did you learn?" And I said, a place called Lennox Heads in Australia. And he said, "Blimey, mate, there's easier places to learn than that." I suppose what started me off on all this, what I do now, was when I actually injured myself. I had to go to hospital, I had an operation, and then I had to get fit. And to get fit, I started off by jogging. I found that was rather boring. But as I was jogging, I ran past this church hall, and on the wall was a sign saying karate. So in I went. I was in my 40s, right, and I was put in a class with young men in their teens and their 20s who were bashing me up really well all the time. I mean, I used to box for the army at one time, so I did know how to handle myself. But this was just a completely new thing. I did persevere, getting belt after belt after belt and getting belted and belted and belted until eventually I discovered that there was another side to this wonderful Oriental stuff, and that was the healing side. And so I took up the healing aspect of it. I started with Shiatsu, the art of gentle healing, and that led me into Tai Chi and learning about the origins of Shiatsu, which actually came from China, well, from Japan, but originally the ideas are based on Chinese medicine. And so that really got me hooked. I discovered the Taoist philosophy, I discovered Tai Chi, I discovered Qigong, I discovered healing, I discovered meditation, I discovered Tantra, I discovered shamanism, all under the overall thing of Taoism. I mean, I'd experimented with Tantra and with Zen meditation and with different kinds of healing and obviously different kinds of martial arts. But here I found a place where they were put all together. It was like coming home in a way. Initially, I came across a friend, an acupuncturist, who told me about a Chinese teacher who's a young man called Ho. And he was the one who introduced me to the concept of Qi energy, this life force that flows through our meridians. We used to meet in the park every Sunday, a group of friends, and we used to do Qigong, which I thought, oh, that's a weird word, it's very interesting. And we did that together. And he taught me so many things about connecting with nature, about finding my grounding and my rooting, finding my place between heaven and earth, if you like, in the Taoist way. And then later on, after I started practicing Shiatsu, I learnt about Mantak Chia. I went to Thailand, I studied his stuff, I followed him around the world. I became one of his senior instructors, teaching Chine Chang, which is a healing practice, and doing all the other stuff that goes with it, having a wonderful time. And then I came back to London and started teaching it myself. I combined it with teaching Shiatsu.
But first, what is the difference between Taoism and Zen?
they're very interesting. Taoism is, there are so many different schools of Taoism. There were about 24 originally, and there were as many differences between each school as there were between all the branches of the different belief systems we had. We all believe in the same thing, but we approach it in our own way. And so Zen was a kind of a nihilistic approach. One of my favourite things is from the first Zen patriarch, who said, "Seek not the truth, nor cherish opinion." And that really sums up what Zen is all about. And there was also the story which I like to tell of the Zen Bodhidharma and the Taoist Lao Tzu meeting the Yellow Emperor at the Dragon's Gate, and the Yellow Emperor saying to them, "Why are we here?" And Bodhidharma, the Zen man, said, "Well, are you sure that we are here? Perhaps it's all an illusion." And Lao Tzu, the Taoist, said, "Well, why are we here? Why not? Why should we not be?" And that, to me, sums up the difference between the two. And I believe there's a place for both of them.
Let's dive in.
Let's just dive in. I mean, one of the things that I think is really helpful in these ancient practices is how relevant they are to what we do today. Because what we do today, you know, it's not always so healthy. We've got so many technological things going on that it tends to affect our energy field in a way. So I don't want to get too technical about that, but the fact is that we've got so many distractions, if you like, that we're not looking after ourselves in the way that we possibly could. And so some of the Taoist practices, whether it's meditation or healing or martial arts, are perfect for helping we modern people live in this modern world without being adversely affected by some of the factors of this model world. I mean, obviously there has been stress throughout history, and people have got stressed about this, that and the other. Nowadays we've got different kinds of stresses, and one of the things which is a real problem, of course, is the fact that we have these distractions all the time. I know in the last year or so a number of people whose partnerships have broken up because one of the partners is playing computer games all the time. So if there have even been some scientific studies on this which showed that partnerships are breaking up because of that, and by just diverting one away from the electronics and getting into maybe tuning into nature, one can have perhaps a more fulfilling life. But one would need to put one's smartphone and laptop away for a little while and to get out into the woods and maybe learn some Tai Chi or some Qigong or something which gets the energy flowing.
Okay, good. Tell us about the Deva in your name.
I'm sorry?
You've got a middle name, Deva.
Yes.
Where did that come from?
I made it up.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I come from a very old French family, and I had a very long French name. The first records of our family were in the 900s, the 10th century, when my ancestor was cupbearer to the King of France. So I gave up all this bullshit many years ago, and although I honour my ancestors, I also honour my spiritual ancestors, but I decided that carrying this sack of ancestors around over my shoulder all the time was actually interfering with my practice, with what I was doing to live my life as it is now, and to let go all that baggage from the past, in the same way that twice in my life I have given away all my possessions, everything, and I have gone with nothing. And I've done that twice simply to clear my way, if you like, so that I wouldn't be encumbered by attachments. Of course, recently, 7 years ago, I developed a new attachment to my beloved partner, Anamata, who is really a twin soul, and we do as you know, you've met her, and we do our practices together, and we fulfill each other's lives. So there's attachment, non-attachment, detachment, and love.
Wonderful, wonderful. I was just thinking that's a radical way of getting rid of your baggage.
Yeah. Yeah.
So does Anamata have baggage? Does she collect stuff, or does she have the same principle?
I can only speak for my own baggage. I cannot speak for anybody else's. Mind reading is not my forte.
Okay. But we're going to be interviewing Anamata on a different call, so I'll ask her stuff there.
Yeah, and she's really looking forward to it. At the moment, she's perfecting her Kalbalian gypsy dance. She's gone off to somewhere in the middle of the desert with a gypsy tribe who've adopted her and living there and dancing morning till night. And, of course, today celebrating Diwali.
So, for you, what would be the most important thing in a relationship?
What would be the most important thing in a relationship? Love, respect, affection, kindness, good manners, tolerance, understanding. They're all the most important things.
Okay, good.
I wouldn't, which of those would you pick? I wouldn't pick out any one of those. But if you don't have one of them, you have a problem.